United Nations Environment Program, as the year says, it's 50 years since it has been established. And needless to say, it is the single organization or the most important organization responsible for coordinating responses to environmental issues within the United Nations. So anything where United Nations gets involved on environment, it is invariably through UNEP. That's the first point that you need to remember. Now, what are all those things in which UNEP is heavily involved? So there are given 4 important points, 4 important environmental agreements or conventions in which UNEP is directly involved. The first one is Convention on Biological Diversity. We have not discussed this because we haven't yet come to biodiversity. Minamata Convention on Mercury. So this is once again on pollution, specifically as the name suggests, mercury pollution. The word Minamata comes from Minamata Bay in Japan. So in Japan, they had a place called Minamata Bay, and many of the Japanese ate fish from the bay, and they fell sick. I mean, some of them it was fatal also because the fish was polluted with mercury. How did the fish get polluted with mercury? Because the water was polluted with mercury. How was the water polluted with mercury? Because there was an industry which was discharging its industrial effluents, which was high on mercury. So we'll discuss about this when we talk about water pollution. So Convention on the CBD, Minamata Convention, Convention on Migratory Species. So this is one exclusive convention focusing only on the migratory species, which primarily involves birds, but sometimes can also involve aquatic organisms which move from one temperate to tropical or vice versa based on whether it is summer or winter. The last one is Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna, which is called as the CITES. Now, why this is important is, so this, if I look at it, I would classify this more as a pre-topic. And why this is important is sometimes they will say that some of these conventions, they'll say whether UN is involved. So one type of conventions, international convention, is whether they are part of UN. The other type of organization is whether it is intergovernmental but not UN. There are some of them. Yeah, when we come to biodiversity, we'll see. The third one is private sector. Private sector. And in rare cases, these two can also coexist. That is partly private sector and partly intergovernmental. So that's the reason why it helps to know or helps to have in our head the answer to the question whether this convention has a UN component, whether it is purely intergovernmental, or whether it is purely a private sector. Okay. Now, what are the important reports? Now, reports invariably, so the entire UNEP is preliminary. Even the reports are predominantly prelims type of questions. Yeah. So, what are the various types of report? Emission gap report, adaptation gap report, protected planet report, and global environmental outlook. So, we are looking at 4 kinds of reports. So, let's